Start again. Welcome to the Attleborough Town Council meeting on Monday the 8th of September 2025. And welcome everybody and thank you for attending. Item 2, any apologies for absence?
Yes, I've got apologies from Councillor Alan Reynolds, Councillor Peter Wenham and Councillor Anthony Middlebrook.
Okay, thank you. Item 3, declarations of interest. To receive and consider declarations of interest.
Yes. Item 15, it says update on all council leases. Mine isn't written there, but I've got a lease with the council.
Yes, I have. Okay, thank you. Anybody else?
Andy, I don't have a pecuniary interest, but I do have a personal interest in items 11, 12, and is it the third one? Maybe it's just 11 and 12.
Right, okay, thank you.
Oh, and 14, sorry. 11, 12, and 14.
And I also do not have a pecuniary interest, but I will declare interest in the same way.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Okay, moving on to item 4, public participation.
Can I say something? Please?
Yes, Councillor Dale would like to speak.
I'm going to put my head above the parapet again. As a council, we are trying to move forward, but we need help from the public as well. You know, it's no good us trying to do things if all we get is horrible things. I don't do Facebook, as I've said, but people do comment what's on there. But as a town, if we don't all work together, nothing's going to get done. And I'm not sitting on a council that's doing nothing. I've been on the council for over 20 years and I want to see things moving forward. So we need the help from the public as well as the councillors' input. So please, can you think about what you're doing and helping rather than hindering? I don't want to have to put my head above the parapet next month because it's getting a bit, you know. Okay.
Can I reiterate Councillor Dale's sentence as well? It's my feeling exactly the same.
Councillor Westby, before we continue, can we find out what that noise is? Is it the speech?
Someone's microphone, isn't it?
No, it's over there.
Oh, is it?
Is it someone's iPad is near a microphone? That's what happened last week.
Yeah.
Some iPad or phone.
No, it's interference on the microphone, isn't it?
Yeah, it's coming through a speaker, isn't it?
This one.
Every time.
My
Can
phone's
you move
switched
your
on.
phones away from the microphones?
These are all. They're off anyway, so it should be.
They're all off, yeah.
Or turn your microphones off? Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Still going?
I think it's something nearer the speaker. All right, that's all.
Mine's on.
Okay, we can stay with it for a little while. Yeah, gentleman in the middle.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with Councillor Dale's speech there, but how can we work with the council and move forward? I'd love that to happen when we have a councillor here who has not apologised, who's got a criminal record and is still standing.
Can I answer that?
Please do speak.
I've not got a criminal record. It's spent. It's done. I have no criminal record.
Right.
And
But you
do
haven't
you know?
apologised.
Sorry.
You haven't apologised.
Do you know that?
Well,
Do you know that?
If you apologise, do it.
Do you know that?
You should apologise.
Apologise. Do you
3
know what
months
happened?
ago,
What happened?
you haven't apologised to anyone, to you and Nora.
End of conversation.
Why haven't you stood down? You broke the rules. You were a councillor that should have stood up and not actually done what you did.
Okay, you made your point.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, please.
Thank you. As a town councillor for 15 years, previous mayor, works in central government, European Commission, local authority, everything else, I understand politics. I agree with Councillor Day. However, I am concerned, and I stepped down in February because I knew what was going to happen. I am worried that the town council is not doing everything it can to represent the town. And if you cannot take challenges, as long as they're polite, admittedly, abusive language and everything else, absolutely not. If you cannot take those challenges, you should not be on the town council.
Yeah.
So, why was last Monday's meeting adjourned and we've got tonight? Please explain.
I can't comment on that because obviously I wasn't here.
No. Well, can someone please explain it? That's not an excuse. Andy, you know that's not an excuse. You are chair of the council.
I am,
You
yes.
should know. Yes, you should know. Please explain.
Well, my understanding is that the meeting was interrupted and there was unsavoury behaviour. That's my understanding. Yes, please, gentlemen.
We got a lecture about how people are turned out for a business meeting and how it's been interrupted. But we had a meeting and none of them bothered to turn up to justify what they've done. So how could we vent? How could we say our attendance if none of them were there to speak? We keep getting lectures back. We keep having to move forward. But there's no accountability still.
Councillor Taylor.
I sought legal advice on that meeting.
Yeah.
I sought legal advice on that meeting, and the topic was deemed to be unlawful, and I did not want to, like this council did before, engage in a meeting, in open discussion that could put this council in jeopardy of legal action yet again, with a cost of £120,000. So I didn't attend because I did not wish to give that meeting credibility. That is my choice, and I appreciate there are residents that don't agree with that. If the topic is unlawful, it is my choice if I do not wish to attend. I chose not to attend. Thankfully, the councillors sought and listened to the clerk's advice and changed direction, but that was in the meeting, not before the meeting was convened and not before the meeting was opened. So I did not attend to not engage in unlawful discussions.
Okay, thank you. Yes, please.
Andy, I'd like to say I was at last week's meeting. Now, to me, Mrs. Dale made a great speech. She said that we've got to, people don't apologise, that she's got to apologise for what she's done. Now, moving forward, I feel that people should make a public apology. They might not feel that that's just, but they should make a public apology. If they're not going to make an apology, everyone in this room will be judged at the next election on what they do now and how they go forward.
Okay, that's fair.
Can I please ask what I personally need to apologise for? What I personally done? Can I please ask what Councillor James
I'm only referring to two people.
Are you? Can you please tell me what personally Councillor T. Taylor done? She was in a street, on a street when a crime happened.
Yes.
I should imagine there are numerous people in this room that may well have been on a street when a crime has happened. So they have to publicly apologise for that.
She's in the public.
She's in the public, but that does not mean she has to take responsibility for something that is not her action.
But my point is, to move forward, something's got to be done. If we can't move forward, then all stand down and have a re-election. And let the public decide.
Do you know what? If everyone at this table stands down, everyone, yes, I will happily do that.
Okay.
Every single person, I'll do that.
I'd be in favour of that. If you want to put that to a vote,
It's not a vote, it's a personal thing.
I'd second that.
There's nothing on the
But you are
agenda.
all in the public light, so at the end of the day, sometimes we have to be the big person, say sorry, even if we feel we haven't done something wrong, as Mrs. Dale stood up last week.
Yeah. Okay. Point taken. Anybody else? Yes, please.
The two items on the agenda of the car park and wardens, I believe there's a conflict of interest between the town.
We saw
councillors
legal advice on that from the.
Can I please also come back on that? Whilst everyone keeps harping on about this conflict of interest because you have district councillors sat at this table, I'll remind you, I don't represent Brecon Council, I don't represent Attleborough Town Council, I represent the people that elected me to both positions. So any decision I make, any participation I engage in is for those residents that elected me to both of those positions. If there's people in here that didn't vote for me that don't like that, that is actually their issue more than it is mine. When I vote on anything, I vote on what I believe is right for this town. The car parks, I don't care if you buy them or not. Actually, I hope you don't. Do you know why? Because I hope in 5 years' time, when you're paying £5–6 an hour to park, you'll remember this meeting and you'll remember your comments. Because yes, the car parks will still be here when Brecon is long gone. It will. Do you know what? The unitary council will be holding it and not be charging you through the numbers.
Thank you. I'm inclined to agree with that.
Thank you, Councillor Weston.
Yes, please, gentleman in the middle.
I would like an explanation as to why the premise that the last meeting was cancelled was because of interruption. Where was this interruption?
Again, I wasn't here, so I can't.
But you should be informed and you should know.
Well,
That's the point that I would like to raise. I'm not sure who agrees the minutes, but I would like the minutes amended because I was here, as many other people, and there was no reason to close the meeting. A decision was made by a person in the chair that was out of order. So you can't report in the minutes that it was closed for those reasons. That was not the reason the meeting was closed. So if you read your minutes, it states on there quite clearly that it was closed because of participation on the floor, and it wasn't.
Right, okay, well.
So that needs to be struck from the minutes and put in correctly, because it implied that the floor caused the problem. The floor asked in a polite, civil manner, and the only person on the night that was out of order was Councillor Taylor, who lost her rag and went For me, it doesn't need to be in the minutes. Her behaviour was disgusting as a councillor. On the minutes, it should not blame the floor. It's as simple as that.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Weston, that can be addressed with a standards complaint.
Yeah, okay.
Is that going to be rectified?
I'll look into that.
No, that's not an answer, Andy.
No, I need to review the.
If you don't mind me saying, you obviously are aware that the meeting was totally out of order last week. The way that the meeting was carried out, right from the minute when councillor spoke, to no apologies being made, it just went to the floor, it was opened up, and it didn't follow the procedure. And that caused a bit of a problem. But the person who spoke, there was no animosity, it was a sensible question that everybody's asking. It was a straightforward question. But Councillor Taylor couldn't hack it, and that's when she threw in the towel and called the meeting apart.
Okay, well.
So you can't stand there and legitimately say you're not aware, because you should be the chair if that's the case, because this is your.
It is, yeah, and I've been very unwell, and that's why I wasn't here last week.
That's fine.
And I undertake to take a review of the video, which I must admit.
Are you saying to the floor that you've not looked at that video and you've not spoken to each councillor that was here that night?
I spoke to some of the councillors and got.
Only some,
yeah.
Not everybody that was here.
No.
My question is, why haven't you done that as the chair?
Because I haven't got time to.
So you couldn't have possibly have asked them to give you feedback. That's what the chair's job is to do.
Okay, well, so I've been very unwell.
I'm sorry you've been unwell, but that's got nothing to do with this matter.
Well, it is, because I've been absolutely laid up.
Yes, but and if you shouldn't be here tonight. If you've been unwell and you haven't been able to, you shouldn't come unprepared.
Well, that's special conjecture.
No, it's not at all.
Okay, I'm afraid we've had our 10 minutes, so any further questions, we'll move to the end of the session, please.
Andy, can I move on to the wardens? Or is this not the time to move on to the wardens?
We've got, that's an agenda item, so we'll deal with that at the time.
Sir, I dropped one.
I had a question, I had to wait my time.
We've used the 10 minutes up, I'm afraid, so I'll give you the first.
Has the public used the 10 minutes up?
No.
No.
Councillor Taylor used 4 minutes of it.
All right, one more question.
Thank you. I was here at last week's meeting, but at last week's meeting, something was said about the public participation section, about it wasn't an agenda item, so it wasn't to be spoken about, discussed. I can't think of the exact name and number. I've subsequently spoken with the clerk, so I never heard of that before, and I said, what does that mean? I sort of knew what it meant, but where has this come from? And she said, no, it's for agenda items only to be discussed under the public participation. Oh, I said, that's to do on our standing orders. So I'm wondering, Chairman, if that particular item maybe ought to be reviewed so that the public can speak about most lawful things. Because if going on top of what Mrs. Dale said earlier this evening, wants the council to work with the people to work with the council, whichever way round, both way round, of course. There may be people that who sit in the room and they've seen something in the town and would like to bring that to the council's attention. I know that some people could email it, or they could ask for a private meeting in the office with the staff to discuss it. But for them, if they're not to say it here, I think loses a link on moving everything forward. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. That's a good point. And I mean, as a business, it is a business meeting, and we deal with the items on the agenda. We can't raise items outside the agenda items ourselves even. So, the same rules apply. But I'm all for considering alternative means of conveying, for the public to be able to convey their views and opinions to us directly. So that's something I'm on the table that we'll review and try and take on board.
Thank you.
So can I just say, is there never any other business allowed to be discussed at the end of the meeting to go on the agenda for the next meeting, if you can't discuss it on your own?
It's a good idea.
No.
So we've seen an issue walking here tonight that we would like to raise. It's in the town, but we can't raise it in the public bit.
You can write in and ask for it.
But we can't, there's no any other business at a meeting.
No.
Councillor Westby, we do as councillors, as this is a council meeting, have items for the next agenda.
Yeah, sorry,
So we don't have any other business, but we do have items for the next.
Well, I mean, any other business is business that's discussed there and then, but there is an item for items for consideration for the next
So
agenda.
is that from the floor as well? Or will we try
No,
to
just from the council.
So how does the general public ever raise a point at a meeting?
So say you can email in or contact the office.
Okay.
Right, moving on. Thank you for that. Item 5, minutes of the last meeting held on the 11th of August and the EGM held on the 11th of August for acceptance and approval. So we've got any comments? Yes, Councillor Burton.
Yeah, I have a few comments regarding the full council minutes. There's nothing recorded about my finance queries that I raised at the last meeting. The 2 payments to SF Services and the Chambers Cafe, reconciliation being 0. I've still not received any satisfactory response. Also, in the public participation, though it did mention a member of the public raised a concern about the finance queries, the missing key part was the actual concern that the motion was passed, even though there was queries. So that was missing from the minutes. And lastly, just out of transparency, so it's recorded, I emailed on the 17th and 26th of August, formally requesting we revisit the motion so we can discuss it more in depth. And obviously I received no response to either email.
Right, okay, I'll look into that.
Thank you.
Can we note that in the minutes? Thank you. Anybody happy to propose acceptance of the full council meeting minutes? Councillor Dalton, anyone seconding? Councillor Taylor, all those in favour?
That's what we asked. That was my question. Those men need amended.
Yeah.
So how can you just vote them in when
We're not. Because they're not.
You weren't even here. So how can you?
Councillor Westby, the minutes
Can I
for councillors
explain?
to amend,
Oh,
not
sorry.
for members of the public to amend. Councillors amend minutes, not residents.
Yeah.
Can I just explain the process? So minutes are draft until they're approved at the next council meeting.
Yeah.
They remain draft until that approval. What will happen is that this set of minutes, I will note that these queries have been raised and they form the next set of minutes. So we don't amend the previous set of minutes because we need to approve those. We approve those subject to the amendment that we should be making. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so if the next meeting comes round and there's nothing in the minutes, which is quite often the case and things are missed.
I can't comment on that,
No, I know you
but I
can't.
can comment on what the procedure will be tonight and what the procedure should be moving forward.
Very good.
Right, okay, thank you. So we'll note the minutes.
I will raise councillor Bircham's queries, and I will make a note of those in the next set of minutes. So I'll make a note, the minutes will be subject to approval, and councillor Bircham raised these issues.
Okay, thank you. Anybody like to propose acceptance of the minutes for the EGM?
So can we just, what about the minutes of the, we didn't continue the motion?
No, we've not accepted them.
You can accept them subject to, if you agree your amendments, then you can accept those minutes
We can't-
subject to those approvals,
We
those
can't agree
amendments.
the amendments until they review them.
So
I'll leave it to them.
Well, I would approve those minutes, subject to the
Review-
amendment,
review.
review that you're going,
Okay.
you need to decide what actions you're going to take to what councillor Bircham has
Yeah,
put in.
okay.
And you approve those minutes, subject to
Yeah,
this and this.
okay. Councillor Dalton, are you still happy to?
I'm happy to propose them as they are, yes. Because subject to the changes that Daniel has mentioned, they were only queries about things, they weren't actuals, as far as I was concerned, because he was asking questions about items within the financials, not the. Those just need answering, nothing more. It was minuted, it should be minuted, yes, I agree.
Okay.
So I would just
But as
minute
far as I'm
the
concerned,
queries have been raised.
the agenda items are as
Yeah,
they were specified.
okay, we'll raise queries on the minutes.
So we'll just amend, I will minute that queries were raised by councillor Bircham that were not recorded in the minutes. And that's probably all that needs to be, that those minutes need to be updated, that councillor Bircham raised queries on the finance and those minutes are approved, subject to that extra sentence having taken place.
Yeah, are you happy with that? Yeah, okay. Seconded, councillor Taylor. All those in favour now on that basis?
Can I have an extension, please? I was on holiday.
Yeah, same.
So
Yeah,
I
that's
can't-
true. Are you
So can I
abstaining or?
just, so we've got,
Three
sorry,
abstain.
I missed the vote, I was too busy scrawling.
Two.
So we've got
You weren't here, were you? You weren't here.
I
how
wasn't
many?
here.
1, 2, 3, 4,
4,
5, 4,
5, 4,
3 abstentions.
3 abstentions.
Okay, moving on to the minutes for the EGM. Anybody got any comments on them?
Yeah, propose to accept them. Propose to accept them.
Right, okay, anybody second? Councillor Taylor. All those in favour?
No, how can you second?
You weren't here.
You weren't here.
You weren't here.
Oh, I thought.
You can see it, yeah.
Well, actually, you can.
No.
It's all right, so I'll still second them.
Okay, okay. All those in favour? Five.
5 again.
You weren't here, was that?
Abstention, please. I wasn't present.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 abstentions, 6 abstentions.
6 abstentions and 5 approvals.
Yeah.
So the motion isn't carried because the abstention doesn't count as a vote.
No, no.
So those minutes are not approved.
No, okay.
Thank you.
Where's this advice been?
So I don't know how you'll get those through, but.
Item 6, financial matters, to consider the formation of a finance working group for consideration of resolution. Anybody got any comments on that? Councillor Bertram.
Sorry. Before we move on, can I just ask a question that is just clarity? If there's no votes against the acceptance of those minutes, but there's only votes in favour, would the votes in favour not still?
No, because it's the law is, it's the number of councillors present and voting, and therefore only 5 councillors voted. 6 councillors did not vote, so 5 is the majority. 6, sorry, so 5 can't be the majority.
Oh,
because
6 is still
councillors.
the majority. Okay, yeah, thank you.
So item 6, financial matters, to consider the formation of a finance working group. Councillor Bertram.
Yeah, I just want to second basically Councillor Two Taylor's email regarding this, regarding the duplication of work, setting a too informal setting due to no agenda or minutes being taken. So maybe use the financial discussions in a more financial professional setting when minutes are taken and public participation.
So you want a committee?
I don't think the working group would benefit the finance.
Right, okay. Anybody else got any? Councillor Taylor?
I personally feel, and I don't know how we'll work around this with, obviously with the issues we have surrounding but I actually feel that maybe those members that are wanting to know more about our finances maybe should come in and have a little bit of training with officers on how local government finance works, because it does differ from day-to-day finances, and sometimes our spreadsheets and our inboxes and our outboxes and our codes can be confusing. Maybe that might be a better time that when the staff are in the building, when it's in staff hours, if they're wanting a better insight into our finances, that they get together with the officers that do that, rather than try and air it all in public and then the public perception be not great because the understanding isn't there. Once we've got the understanding, then discuss it as much as you want. I think sometimes maybe a little bit of knowledge and training goes a long way.
Certainly a good starting point, I think. Any comments on that? Are you amenable to that?
No, I'm in favour.
Right.
Thank you. I actually brought this up with the clerk. I know GP and F, and I know the F is for finance, but I sometimes feel it gets a little bit lost in the end of it, in the GP and F and finance. And I would like it to be made clear. I'm not bothered with, we have another committee. We always used to have a separate finance committee. But what I want is the finance to be clear so everybody could understand it. And that was my sole reason for bringing it up to the clerk's notice, because we're having so much, argy-bargy. If everyone knows what's happening, perhaps people would be a little bit more understanding.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about all the councillors.
I agree with that. I think training is key, but also a separate finance committee might not be a bad idea. Councillor Taylor.
My personal view is that we do have the General Purpose and Finance Committee. I think if members and the public would like heavier scrutiny of those finances, it just needs to be made known to the chairman and the clerk so that it can be done in that forum, transparently, openly, and in public view and recorded in the minutes. I do think that Councillor S. Taylor's comments about training are quite relevant. I don't know if I agree that it should be done in-house. I think that actually we are registered with Norfolk Parish Training and Support. I know they offer a finance training session that can be done easily online, and I think that perhaps we should make that available to members.
Definitely. Okay, I agree with that.
That's actually a really good proposal, because I think my concern was also going to be that if, although Sharon is our proper officer and she is our clerk, it is Anne that does our finances, and obviously Anne is no longer coming to evening meetings, and I don't think that that's going to change. So when questions are thrust upon the clerk, sometimes I think it is slightly overwhelming for her because she might not have that information, at hand, because Anne generally does deal with the day-to-day finances. So maybe if there are questions, they can be emailed in advance. If those members still want to bring them up in public, so they're there for the public to hear, at least the clerk will have the answers ready. And I think that that is only fit and proper to do that. It's only fair, because she does obviously have quite a considerable work. And
I think that's key to any question that a member of the public is going to raise, that if they can fire it across in advance, then it gives us the opportunity to deal with it. Okay, how are we going to?
Can I make a proposal, please?
Yeah.
Can I make the proposal
Yeah.
that the finances are more heavily scrutinised in the existing committee, and that we offer all councillors the finance training available via Norfolk Finance.
I'll second that.
You seconded it? Yeah, okay, thank you. All those in favour?
Is that unanimous?
Yes, it is.
Can I just ask who seconded?
Thank you. Thank you.
Right, moving forwards on to item 7, financial documents for consideration of resolution. So item subsection 1, authorised September payments. Anybody got any comments? Yes.
I have a question. It might not get answered tonight. The only two payment lines are the 12th and the 19th. Is that due to them being incomplete, or is that the only two dates that have been paid? So just that one.
I think that was on holiday.
Okay.
I think that, don't quote me on that, but I think that was okay. She's been on holiday, hasn't she?
Oh, she's on that. I don't know if she's continued, but she is
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that's the reason, but we'll double check.
And I just want to get a bit of clarity on the Chambers Cafe's expenditure and whether that's funding for itself or part of the town council, because obviously it's in excess of £881 on that payment sheet. So if I get
Yeah, if I may, I did, because I knew there had been some queries, pop into the office this afternoon, and I had a chat with Anne about this. She has now separated all of the expenditure into a separate income and expenditure. At present, there is £1,272 credit in the Chambers accounts. They're doing very, very well. And all of that money has been raised either by business sponsorship or by donations. None of that is taxpayers' money.
Thank you, Councillor.
Can I just add in, because there is such a growing surplus, we've actually now been in talks with other organisations into offering support to them with some of that surplus money. So to open up a wider offering to different aspects of the community, and hopefully within the next few weeks, we should have something more to come back on that. But I'd like also to point out that whilst, yes, the council assists us, and we ask the council to assist us just like other organisations and groups do with the building, and yes, we are twin hatters, and we said this is a community thing. It's not council money. The council manage the money for the community CAF. It is not the council's money, and I do appreciate that members are curious and they have questions, and I really welcome them to have them, but they please must keep in mind it is not council money when you're scrutinising it. It is the community CAF's money. The council manage it on our behalf.
Can I just add to what Councillor Taylor just said, just so it doesn't seem so ambiguous about the additional support, something that was mooted many, many weeks ago, but we're waiting on receipt of DBS's, is a breakfast club for children school-aged in the mornings on their way to school. And the second thing was the offer of a veterans lunch breakfast club.
Okay, thank you. We've got a proposal for the item to authorise payments. Councillor Dalton, Councillor Taylor, second. All those in favour?
Unanimous again.
3 abstentions.
3 abstentions.
1, 2, 3,
Can I just ask which councillor Taylor? Oh, is it you?
Sorry.
I can't.
T. Taylor.
T. Taylor. So there were
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
8
And 3 abstentions.
and 3 abstentions.
Moving on to item 2, to agree September direct debits. Any comments?
I propose that we accept.
Okay, thank you. Seconder, Councillor Dalton. All those in favour? Unanimous. Thank you. Item 3, to receive income for acceptance and approval. Councillor Burton.
I propose we accept.
Okay. Councillor Taylor, second. All those in favour? Unanimous again. Thank you. Petty cash for information. Any comments on that? Any observations? No? Okay, thank you. The item 5, the income and expenditure sheets for August 2025. Any comments or observations? No, thank you. And then just for information, the AGI external audit notice of conclusion, barring a minor point, I think that was passed. So that's good news. Okay, item 8, councillors' reports. Anybody want to, Councillor Taylor?
I can give a quick recap on my last week. Last Tuesday, I had planning committee at Brecon Council. I had chairman's panel on the Wednesday. On the Thursday, I had a meeting with the Youth Advisory Board with a view to extending the offer within the Arch. On Friday, I attended the ADB meeting as a substitute. For anyone that's unaware, that's the Attleborough Development Partnership. And I have a local plan briefing tomorrow.
Okay, anybody else? Yes.
Yeah, I sat on 2 panel hearings at Breckland for licensing for taxi drivers, thankfully neither in our patch, where licences were temporarily revoked. So the team put a lot of effort into that. At Breckland, I've also got the members briefing tomorrow. I had overview and scrutiny on Thursday, which was predominantly social housing providers came in and gave their updates on how they're doing and how they're now moving into their next phases of making sure their houses are compliant. What else? I think that's about it. Planning, also planning. ADP, I also done the ADP meeting.
Okay, thank you. I also attended the ADP meeting. And also on Saturday, I attended at the library for a ceremony for the school children to complete a reading assignment over the summer holidays, which was quite impressive because there were 60 or 70 children that had achieved it. So it was quite good to see. Okay, moving on. Item 9, the clerk's report.
There is no report.
Okay, no report this one. Item 10, 2025 to 26 events for consideration and resolution. First item A, we're looking at the 800th year of the Charter Market celebrations.
Can we have a rogues fair?
A rogues fair?
A rogues fair for that. I think that would be brilliant. We've got enough rogues in town, including me, you know. Sorry, that wasn't at you. I never thought. I apologise. I didn't think about that. I think the rogues, if we could work on something like a rogues fair, there's so much we can. Well, that's just a suggestion.
Okay, that's what we're here for.
Yes, I agree with the suggestion made by Councillor Dale. I think that's a great idea and does link back to some of our heritage in the town. I know it's something that was done many years ago. I also think that a suggestion would be to engage our weekly charter market, the traders there, to see if they have any input ideas and would like to be involved in that celebration. And the last thing that I would say is that I do know that Cliffy Amos, I had a conversation with him last Thursday, and he is now collating information on our markets through the years. So hopefully we'll have something to aid the council in those celebrations from a historical perspective.
My thought from a historical perspective is we've got to look at cider trade and also the turkey trade.
Stocks.
Incorporate that in some way. Anybody else got any comments?
It's something we all need, if we're going to look at it, I think we all need to look at it and come back with suggestions.
Yeah.
Because if we're going to do it, it's got to be done properly, not half-heartedly. It's really got to have a lot of work put in, and we can use public skills.
Absolutely.
And thing, and I'll go first in the stocks, I don't mind. Yeah. But I think it's something we need, if we're going to do that, we need to work on it.
Definitely. I think we do need a working group to do that. Anybody interested in setting up a working group? It's going to come around quickly. Anybody interested?
I'm I make a suggestion? That between now and the next meeting, that we engage the Heritage Group, the current traders at the market and councillors to see who would be involved in that working group, and come back to the next meeting with a bit of an idea of who would be willing to be involved, what their roles and responsibilities within that would be, and also relevant terms of reference for that working group, please.
If you want to email me if you're interested, I'll collect that information. Or what to. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Councillor Speaker.
The other item is item B, feedback on the open air cinema and sports cafe at the recreation ground.
I think the cinema for what was paid was abysmal. The biggest, there was 82 was the biggest number there, because I spent my time counting them, and that was for Minecraft. I mean, there were hardly some of them. There were 18 for Greece when I left. I don't know if the hordes more came in, but I just think for the money, we really ought to think of doing something that is maybe more inclusive. I don't know, I think it was a lot of money for what it was. People there enjoyed it, but I expected to see the rate, and it wasn't.
Was the weather an issue?
Sorry?
Was the weather an issue?
Weather was good.
Okay.
If I may, I'm minded to agree, and I did notice that there was quite an increase from last year to this year's cost with that company. I don't know if it is something the council's going to look to do again. Absolutely not at August Bank Holiday weekend. I think that was the first rookie mistake, and I think that the other mistake was not doing more to shop around.
Okay. Councillor Bertram.
Can I just make a general comment on their events? I know that a hot topic at the moment is lack of transparency to the general public of what specific events are run by Attleborough Town Council or not. In particular, the Chambers Cafe, the Business Awards and the Christmas Market. So perhaps we could probably have a agenda item for that for the next meeting maybe, so we can actually discuss it, because it doesn't actually come to Town Council, so we don't really get an opportunity to discuss it on the agenda.
Okay, we'll deal with that at item 17.
No, well, obviously the purpose of the discussion is how we can actually perceive that.
Yeah, but if you want it on next month's agenda, we'll do that at item 17. Anyone else, have you got any comments?
I was just going to actually say that August Bank Holiday probably wasn't the best choice of weekend, because a lot of people do go away.
Yeah,
So
I did myself, so it's not witnessing it. But, okay, item 11, the Brecon car park proposal for consideration resolution. Can we get the comments on that? Yes, Councillor Adams.
I have my doubts about purchasing this car park. And the reason I say that is because if we purchase the car park, then we are going to have to charge, surely, or are we going to give it away free? In other words, if we're going to pay £10,000 or whatever the figure is for this car park, then how are we going to recoup that money? How are we going to maintain the car park? And it's going to be a considerable cost when we want to resurface it or anything. I know that it's in fairly good state of repair at the moment, but it's not to say that it's going to last like that forever. That's why I've got my hesitations about actually buying it in the first place. I think it's going to be just another big white elephant around our necks, frankly.
Yeah,
can I just ask whether or not we've actually, because I know this has come forward a couple of times and it's then been deferred because we haven't received any further information from Brecon Council since making our response to the offer. So is there new information that's relevant this evening? If not, I would suggest that it's deferred, because there's no more that can be done since we last had the site before.
And if they're giving it to you for £1, it could be a completely different consideration.
Quite, yeah.
There's no update on working valuations.
Yeah, how much longer can we keep kicking the can down the road though? Like, are we going to get anything from Brecon on this, or are we just going
to keep pushing for it then in that case? Yeah, I know there is some urgency to the whole transaction, but Councillor Taylor.
I think the issue is that Brecon Council actually didn't put the offer on the table to purchase it. Brecon Council's intent was for the Town Council to consider a lease option. so that the town council could lease it on a 10, 15-year lease. I didn't participate, it's at that ballpark figure in respective years, to safeguard the cost of parking for the residents and the businesses in the high street. I think this town council expressed the wish to purchase it, which is what has thrown the spanner in the works at Breckland's end, because obviously we are getting ready for reorganisation, and what we can do with our assets is running out of time. We aren't going to have a prolonged amount of time where we can do stuff with our assets because they will be frozen, and officers are obviously now trying to redraft and look at the town council's preference of purchasing it, because that was the town council at the time's preference. If you'd have gone with the lease, I think probably you wouldn't be kicking it down the road any further. You'd probably be nearly there and looking at signing papers any time in the near future. But because the town council made the inquiry about purchase is why this has dragged on for so long. We just get Sharon to chase it. I think that's all we can do.
I mean, what is everybody's view on the subject?
I'm against it.
You're against? You're against it?
Yeah.
You would have to bring it back to council then for that motion to be made officially, because the council.
No, I'm just interested to know.
And I also would comment that in making such a bold statement, you could then prejudice yourself from actually voting when that item comes forward.
Well, I think that just happened.
I think it did.
I'll explain.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Right, we'll defer that then to the next meeting. And we'll get Sharon in the meantime to check. I'll propose that.
I'll second it.
Councillor Susan, second. All those in favour of deferring to next one? Unanimous. Thank you. Item 12, consideration for safer street wardens in Attleborough, consideration of resolution. Comments?
Can I just propose to suspend standing orders just to let the gentleman in the gallery just discuss this agenda item, because he brought it up, didn't he, about the safer street wardens?
Or actually, you have an officer from Breckland that's attended this evening to actually address the council.
I didn't know that.
That's true, actually, yes.
Standing orders suspended.
Yeah, we'll suspend the standing orders then, and what I propose that we do. And then we
Second
get-
it.
Yeah.
Do you want to come for in?
Yeah, maybe to speak.
If you come round.
When I said gentleman, I meant.
Yeah, I know you do. I'll make sure. Why are we now? Why have we now got a second situation? I don't know what else we want.
Is the report why don't we just make the decision and be done with it?
I think we can buy it now. Well, because we've all spoken against it.
Okay, to start.
Yes, okay, yeah, good evening everyone, I'm Craig from Brecklands. So I think just to set the scene for this is that we're basically, Brecklands is offering all of the town council across Brecklands, the opportunity to decide if they would like some safer street wardens or not. The scheme's been operational for about 18 months in Thetford. It's been very successful. So we just basically it was always a pilot scheme that we may want to extend it across the towns of Brecklands. Just basically some quick public and business satisfaction from Thetford. So 87% of visitors said that they saw the safer street wardens at least once a week. 94% of residents agree or strongly agree that they feel safer since the introduction. 86% of businesses say their staff felt safer, and 56% of businesses have seen a reduction in crime. So basically the offer is, in a nutshell, happy to take questions. It would be at least until the end of June 26. I think we could give you a full 12 months, but I couldn't guarantee the exact hours. But basically the cost of deploying
A safer street warden with all the old costs is about 41,000 a year. So that's the employment, that is body cameras, equipment, all of those sort of things that we give. And basically the ask for that, if you wanted to go ahead with it, is a match funding bid. So the ask would be 10,000 from the town council if you wanted to do that. And the funding is coming from Reckland, the Police and Crime Commissioner, and some UK shared prosperity funds. So that's basically the offer. But yeah, happy to sort of answer questions.
Okay, and that's 25% then?
Yeah, yes, 25%. So yeah, it's about 10,000.
And is that for 1 or 2 wardens?
You'd get about a minimum of 15 hours a week. It'd be about 15 to 18 and a half, and they're usually paired, so they're in 2. So if you've got 18 and a half, you've got almost 1 full-time equivalent. But yeah, so you would get 2 wardens for about 18 and a half, 15 to 18 and a half hours a week.
Can I just start? I'm struggling to hear because while you've got people talking in your this side, you're trying to concentrate on council business and the public galleries mumbling between themselves. Can I please request that members of the public have some respect and let us do our business?
Okay, thank you. Councillor,
thank you. On the Brecon website, there's a question on here. It says, "Are safer street wardens the police?" And the answer from Brecon is no. Our safer street wardens are funded by the Home Office through the Police and Crime Commissioner for North. So my question to you, sir, is why do you want £10,000 from us?
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, the Brecon Safer Street Wardens, there was 2 rounds of funding. So the initial funding was funded from the Safer Street Wardens round 5. It was part of the Home Office. That ended in April of this year. So that was ended. Basically, it is now basically what we're doing. We've got a bit of funding from UK Shared Prosperity Funds, but yeah, basically it is a match funded option. So the option is, if you want it, it is match funded. So I suppose why we're asking it is that there is, I think, from the Police and Crime Commission and various other people, it would be sort of match funded. So we are asking for a 25%. But there isn't funding to fully fund it, unfortunately. If that helps.
Councillor Adams.
Yeah, my question here is that if there were originally 5 market towns involved in the scheme, so if we're all coughing up this 10 grand, that's £50,000. And yet you just said that the cost of the scheme is 41,000.
Yeah, no, the cost of employing
the town.
The cost of employing a single street warden or a warden, a full-time equivalent, would be 41,000 per town. So we would, at the minute, we've got 2 safer street wardens. If other towns come in, obviously we'd have to, we couldn't have a person in Thetford, and we'd need more people. They couldn't be in 2 places at the same time, so we'd employ additional people.
My question is, what sort of hours would, they work 18 hours, but what sort of time of day and week?
Yeah, well, we have them on a rota system. They normally do about 5 days per week, and we don't have them on a fixed time. We usually deploy them where they're going to be most effective. So it could be evenings, it could be weekends, but what we normally do is at the beginning of the month we agree a rota. So they would be getting about 5 days a week, 3-4 hours, something like that. But we'll say we rotate that around. So one is that they're most effective, but also if you have got people that are up to no good, they're drug dealing or they're doing stuff on the street. If they know the ones are going to be there at a certain time, they'll do it outside of those times. So the fact that what I'm saying is, I'm surprised because they don't know, because it could be Saturday, Sunday. They move around, so they do different shifts to get the most coverage.
And what powers of apprehension?
What powers do they have?
Powers have they got to arrest or?
Okay, so there's no powers of arrest because they're not police officers, but they have got enforcement powers, so they can public spaces protection orders. They can enforce those. They can issue fixed penalty notices, so they can for littering and antisocial behaviour. They can issue community protection warning notices. In a nutshell, what used to be called antisocial behaviour orders. So you can give people a community protection warning a notice, and if they don't abide by that, then you can get restraining or criminal behaviour orders if somebody is doing something particularly. So they do have powers, but obviously not a power of arrest because they're not police officers.
Thank you. Councillor Taylor.
I was actually just going to ask, I know the council ran a small consultation on this, and I was wondering if Sharon had left the findings of that consultation, because I know this council, and quite rightly so, has been so vocal lately about listening to what the residents say and supporting the residents. I would be quite interested to see what the data was from that, to know whether members are putting money where their mouth is, and will be supporting the outcome of that consultation, and not any personal preference, but listening to the residents.
Oh, it is in the meeting papers that
It
the
is.
councillors received. If I may, Chairman.
Yeah.
That document is actually, there's two summaries available. One is the response overview where you can see the charts and, you know, all in bright colours, so it's very clear reading. And one is a like Excel sheet with a breakdown of each response. I will say that, and I've just pulled it up in front of me for the benefit of those present, and this isn't a sales pitch, this is just facts, which I know we got a bit confused with last time around. There was 118 responses to that consultation. When asked what the crimes were that residents were most concerned about, residents and business owners in the town, 71 of those responses said antisocial behaviour and 65 said drugs. Now, antisocial behaviour is one of the most prominent things that these street wardens would tackle or combat if council was minded to make a contribution. Feedback that was received did clearly say in the word cloud presented that the areas that they felt were, you know, the most contentious areas, or the areas that they felt least safe, was the town centre and at night time. So one of my questions to Craig, you can pick this up when I'm finished, would be, will those street wardens be available of an evening in the town centre at any time? And is there any way to make that happen? The second thing, just because I feel like there's been a perception, rightly or wrongly, that there's a benefit to Brecon Council of these street wardens, when actually, as far as I can see, your financial contribution exceeds our own if it goes ahead. So I'd like to ask Craig, is there a benefit to Brecon Council? And if so, what is it? Just, you know, for full transparency to members of the public present. When asked if the members of the public that had filled in the survey had witnessed or been victim of a crime, 65 said yes, while 56 said no. So that's quite tight, but it was a majority. And they, when asked what they'd been exposed to, a landslide majority, said antisocial behaviour. A few said criminal damage and shoplifting. I actually myself recently witnessed a shoplifting incident, and the gentleman that was working in Lidl's, that come out in his Lidl's uniform, actually had, I don't know if it's the bravery or the stupidity, to chase after the individual that had been shoplifting. When asked if feet on the street were seen as a benefit, you know, eyes and ears that could actually gather local intelligence as opposed to CCTV. CCTV does not have that same benefit. 89 said yes, 89, while only 27 said no. Further, when asked what their preferred option was, whether it was CCTV, safer street wardens, or both, 27 said safer street wardens, 33 said CCTV, and 48 said both. If you combine those figures of both with safer street wardens, that's 75, and say both with CCTV is 81, whereas only 33 wanted CCTV as a standalone. So you're comparing 83 yes with 33. And when asked, finally, if £10,000 of Attleborough Town Council's money was a good investment, 72 residents said yes, while only 36 said no, and 10 said they were unsure. Thank you.
Yes, well.
I did raise questions. I do want an answer. Craig.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I appreciate.
Sorry, you're going to give Craig the
Yeah, you Craig. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, just to answer those. So yeah, I think on about deployment, yes, they would be available. I mean, they're not there every day. They're not there 24/7. But yes, they would be available. What we would do, yeah, they actually are employed by Bracknell, so we provide the training and all of those sort of things. but we would work in part. I mean, yes, the wardens in fact could go out and talk to business owners and the public every day. So they might say, there's an issue there, but we would work with the town council. The wardens would come in, talk to you, sort of weekly. Have you got any issues? Have you got any concerns? Where did you're the eyes and ears, you're the local intelligence. So I think this is an area, this is a particular time, and that's what we do in Thetford, is to deploy them when they're most needed. So yeah, it might be in the evening when the pub's closed. It could be all of those. I think as a about the financial interest, there is no financial interest. Obviously, yeah, there's the max funding, but the majority of funding is coming elsewhere. So it is just a help to top up and balance the books. And I think it's, whether you agree or whether you don't, we just want to make people feel as safe as possible. And we want to do as much for our towns to make them feel safe, but also businesses as well. If people feel safe, they will go out in the towns. If they don't, if they don't feel safe and they don't feel comfortable, then they'll probably go elsewhere. So it's just an offer. It's not a hard sell. It's your choice. It's entirely your choice whether you want it or whether you don't. And I don't mean that in a rude way. To make skin off my nose, whether you do or whether you don't. We're making the offer, and it's for you to decide.
Okay. Councillor Arnold.
Yeah, so I appreciate Craig's response and I appreciate Councillor Taylor's comments. But we're in a town of more than 10,000 population. I don't think 118 testimonies really count. Yeah. There's lots more people to ask. And when you think that Dereham Town Council have rejected this, Swaffham Town Council have rejected this, and just 2 weeks ago, Watton Town Council rejected this, I don't think this is a very good idea for the town. I don't think the money is worth the wardens. I think we could have cameras that record in multiple parts of the town at the same time, whereas 2 wardens at one end of the town, if they're, say, near the snooker club and something happens at Queen Square, they're not going to see that. So what's the point? Whereas cameras in different parts of the high street at different ends of the town will record 24/7. I don't think this is a good idea. And also, whether you can trust this testimony or not, there's an eyewitness account here online in Thetford that the town council, the street wardens witnessed antisocial behaviour on a bridge in Thetford, and when confronted by the 2 people making a noise, they felt intimidated and walked off. So what are they going to do in Attleborough?
Yes, Madam.
Sorry. Handing me on, dropping off. Well, I think Councillor Allen has answered one of the questions I was going to ask. How many other towns have taken it on? So that was one of the questions I was going to ask. And they can't deal with drugs, can they? As I understand, they can't deal with people doing drugs. Is that right?
I think it's important just to say what they can and what they can't do. So yeah, they won't directly. I mean, yeah, they may move people on. They may, they talked about that. They're not the police, but we do work with the police. We work with trading standards. So, they do patrols with the police and they do pass that intelligence on. So, for example, if they notice people dealing with drugs, then they would pass that intelligence on. I can't say too much, but for example, we've had concerns, not in this town, but in another town, about a house or a household dealing drugs. The neighbours are quite scared about coming forward because of that. So the safer street wardens, patrol up that road, and anything that you see about drug dealing in that house is reported back to us and reported back to the police. That has actually resulted in that action. But what I'm trying to say is, yeah, so I suppose to answer the question, directly probably no, but indirectly yes. They will deal with all sorts of issues. It might be underage sales, it might be domestic violence, it could be, safeguarding vulnerable people. They will deal with it in different ways. And I think, just on the CCTV one as well, is that they can't see everybody outright, but as part of their radios, they have a radio that is linked into the CCTV control room, so they can also talk to and they, you know, they can talk to the control room to say, can you follow that person? We've had reports of this, can you know, look for this vehicle, etc. And they can instruct the control room to follow certain things, but I think your point was they can't, you know, they're.
So can the police.
Yeah. Well, they can if they're on.
So can the police, and we already pay the police. So why are we paying extra for wardens that don't have powers of arrest like the police do? Yes, the wardens can go to one end of town and follow people, but if we've got cameras doing so, the police can then go and arrest them. The warden's going to get there and phone the police anyway. So let's just let the police do their job.
Okay. Councillor Adams.
Yeah, I've been onto the police part of our council website, and I've extracted some figures from there. And if I can just alert people as to what's happening with crime. These are figures based on June's, because that's the latest figures I could come across. And there were 2 crimes in Carver's Lane, which is a considerable distance from the High Street. There were 4 crimes in Tyne Close, again, quite a distance from here. There was 1 crime in West Car Road. There was 1 crime in Cypress Road. There was 2 crimes, sorry, in Orchard Close. There was 1 crime at Sainsbury's, or in the Sainsbury's area. This is not specific to an actual spot on the ground. It is a generalised area. There were 3 crimes in Exchange Street. And there was 1 crime in Chapel Road. All I'm saying here is that what I'm seeing here is very little crime in the actual town centres. If you go out to that new estate, as you come into Attleborough from Thetford End, I would call it there were crimes there in Finch Road, in Tortoiseshell Drive, and in Goldfinch Drive. So they're all crimes that are, all these crimes at the moment are all outside of the High Street. Are these 2 town wardens actually going to be able to patrol the whole of Attleborough in their 18 hours a week? Because they're not. And yet, where is the crime being committed? Are they actually being committed in the High Street, or are they being committed on the estates that are miles away? And I can go on from there. I mean, I've got here.
I think you made a point. Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous, really, that we're employing 2 town wardens to patrol basically what may be the High Street. I actually went along the High Street a couple of weeks ago, and I spoke to every single shop that was open on that Saturday. And the only 2 places that had a problem with crime were the factory shop with the children from the school coming out from school and misbehaving in their shop, and Sainsbury's, who apparently have a problem with shoplifting, obviously. I personally think that these town wardens are not going to be fit for purpose.
Councillor Taylor.
I'm not voting either way, so I'm really not invested so much in the yes or the no of it. But what I am invested in is my colleagues' comments that only 118 people, we can't listen to them because there's 12,000 people in the town. If only 118 people bothered to engage, that's because they were invested. If the other 11,800 didn't bother, that's on them. I would also ask my learned colleague to remember, when there's 40, 50 people in this room shouting the loudest, they are also the minority in the town, and maybe we shouldn't listen to them.
Yes.
That's your opinion.
That was your opinion. That was your case for not supporting this. Only 118 people. No, I know, but I'm just saying. Could you please remember?
I think I made my point.
Please. Any poll is only as good as any representative as the number of people that take part in it.
Exactly.
Councillor Bertram.
If Brexham was prepared to put a cash injection into the Safer Street wardens, why couldn't it have gone direct to the police? If they were prepared to put like a cash injection into the Safer Street wardens, why couldn't it have gone to the police to help the find more police officers rather than putting the Safer Street wardens on the street, actually put more police on the street who can actually arrest them?
Well, I think that's a question for the Police and Crime Commissioner. Basically, yeah, the funding is prevalent. There is some funding from the Police and Crime Commissioner, and there is some from the UK Shared Prosperity. But I think that is, yeah, obviously we don't control the input of the police, but I think, yeah, we can talk to the police and crime commissioner. We're more than happy to do that, but I think this was about safer street wardens and putting some other intervention there. But, I'll take it forward, yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. I was actually, when I first previously put my hand up, it was to say very much what Councillor S. Taylor and yourself have just said. I did just do a quick number crunch and noted that actually 118 people responded to the consultation. In the last main election, if you like, in 2023, actually we had councillors elected on 247 votes, which by that proportionality, if there being 12,000 residents, maybe they ought not to have been elected, is what you're saying. I will continue to say, I will continue to say that actually you also did contradict yourself. I'll just point this out, as you said that actually the wardens would call the police to take action, or they would only do that if they were there to observe that crime to be able to do so.
No, I don't.
I will also say,
can
you not interrupt me, please? I will also say that in essence of them only being in the town centre, as Councillor Adams noted, actually Craig had already told the room that they would go where they were needed. So those open spaces where we've had issues where actually connectivity for CCTV could cost thousands, if not tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, they could be present and take note of those incidents. Thank you.
Very quickly.
Yeah, what I said, all I made the point was that if they're patrolling the town centre, they're not patrolling the estates. If they're patrolling the estates, then obviously they're not patrolling the town centre. So I can't see what the advantage there is. The point I want to make now, though, however, is that I was looking at the debate going on at Bottom over these town wardens. And I'm fairly certain that one of the things I picked up on there was that if we were to agree these town wardens, the scheme would at best be running from September or October this year till June next year, but we would still be expected to pay £10,000, despite the fact that we've not got 12 months worth of wardens. Is that correct?
Yeah, basically the funding from some of the UK Shared Prosperity Fund does run out at the end of March. I think what I said at the beginning is, yes, you would go to the end of June for your 18 and a half hours. We would then Brecon would look at giving you a full 12 months, but I can't guarantee at the moment exactly what that hours would be. So you would get your 15 to 18 and a half hours at the end of June, and then you basically got July and August, having August in September. You'd have another 2 months where Brecon would fund that, but I can't guarantee exactly what those hours would be, but you would get your 12 months.
Just coming back briefly to Councillor Taylor's remarks.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Do you want
Carry on,
to
carry on, yeah, carry on.
Going back to
sorry.
Councillor
Peripheral
Taylor's
vision's not very
remarks.
good.
The point Craig raised was that the camera operatives can then contact the wardens and say, you need to be here at this time. But then the wardens, when they get there, all they can do is then phone the police. Cut out the middleman, lose the wardens, and go straight to the police. And if there's more cameras in the town to do so, you'll have a better chance of catching people. Strap wardens.
Okay.
Can I just ask, if we voted against the wardens, are we as a council going to put up all these cameras that people want? So are we going to use the money to put up cameras? Are we just going to vote for or against the wardens and do nothing about the cameras? People have said about wardens, they've said about cameras. So we're just...
I would be in favour of cameras, personally.
You know, we as a council would have to decide whether we're going to pay for cameras. Sorry, just...
I've got one quick question. Obviously, what happens to the funding after June 26th, and who will pay for them then?
Sorry, did you get that, Craig?
No.
Sorry.
Can you repeat it?
What will happen with the funding after June 26th, and who will pay for them then?
Okay. We would look at some basic funding. We are looking at some
So
basic.
it's not guaranteed yet?
No, not total guarantee.
Thank you. That's all I need to know. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry, you mean, sorry, I think for the full 12 months we would, sorry,
Right,
at the end
after
of
June.
August,
Yeah.
we would do it, but then after then Brecklands are putting some money in, but actually I can't guarantee what that is yet.
Okay,
because
thank
it's
you.
too far away.
Councillor Dalton.
Okay, just to go back to what Councillor Anthony Adams said, Cypress Road and Exchange Street are not that far from the town centre because Exchange Street is part of the town centre. We could put more CCTV within the town centre, but no member of the public would really want CCTV down their streets. So I will say, I'm neither for nor against the wardens. Yeah, but you're supposed to be careful.
This is a public participation.
Okay. Councillor Taylor.
CCTV is all well and good, as long as there's someone there watching it 24/7, but they don't, because they're 20, 30 different screens.
The only advantage of it is it can be used for evidence afterwards.
Yeah, that's it. But you've got to actually see the crime being committed.
Yeah.
To actually know it's happened.
If I may.
Need to wrap this up.
That is exactly what I was going to propose. I, similarly to Councillor Taylor, won't be participating in the vote on this because I do have a personal interest and I think it would be prudent to abstain. I would like to request a recorded vote, if I may, because I think there is a clear indication of what the public have asked for, opposed to what the councillors present are going to do. And I think that ought to be recorded in the minutes. I think that it's quite irresponsible, I will say, to say that you support the installation of CCTV without even having a cost to associate that with. But I look forward to receiving those quotes and seeing if they're proportionate and affordable.
Just very quickly on that, a certain cost sheet that we've received as councillors, it says that a camera is £1,300 each. So I, from that, take that we could get 7 cameras for £10,000.
And the installation and the connectivity of those is?
Well, if we've had the cost that it's £1,300.
For the camera, not for the installation, not for the.
It doesn't say that. It doesn't. It's not. If it's not clear on that, then what's the big one?
Do you recall how much had the electricity hooked up to put the camera on the chapel? Was that something that said was £7,000 just to have the electricity connectivity put into the cemetery? It was it? So we could say to get it into Global Road, to get it into the park at Taylor Wimpey, to get it into London Road, would be £10,000 per
I'm just going to be a bit controversial as we suspend this standing orders. Can I just have a straw poll of the members of the public here present?
Can I make a point?
No.
Just a quick one. You're getting offered 30 grand of extra money. You don't have to carry it on after June if it's not working. It's and then you can look at cameras. Look at cameras in the meantime. Why throw away 30 grand of funding from Breckland? Take their money.
Yeah, I don't agree.
That's because you don't.
Can I just take a straw poll? Who's in favour of the wardens? Who's in favour of the wardens? Who's not in favour of the wardens?
Yeah.
Recorded vote.
Makes you wonder where this how many people came from it, doesn't it? Really answer that survey.
Yeah.
They're all anonymous.
Any vote is only representative of what's.
Yeah, true.
Okay, I'm not taking any questions. No. Yeah, I'm going to vote. Yeah. Can we, councillors vote, please? Who's in favour of Sacred Street wardens? Yeah. Who's not in favour? Who's abstaining?
Hang on, I need to record this vote. It's been requested, sorry. So Councillor Dale. Councillor Westby. Who else was not in favour? Councillor Jacob.
Adams.
Councillor Bircham, Councillor Adams.
Councillor Sousa.
Sorry, my writing's slow. And councillor T. Taylor. Abstained. I abstained.
Abstaining. Councillor Fraser abstaining.
Fraser.
You abstaining. And Councillor J. Taylor.
Councillor S. Taylor. And Councillor J. Taylor.
Yeah. Everybody.
Let's make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yep, that's
okay.
lovely. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks very much, Craig. Right. Moving on to item 13, vexatious complaints policy, standing orders and financial regulation amendment, consideration of resolution. Councillor Taylor.
Yeah, if I may, these policies have already been through the standing orders review committee and were, I believe, unanimously put forward for acceptance at this meeting.
They were.
I would like to propose their acceptance.
Okay. Anybody else got any comments in the meantime? No? Councillor Dalton, second. All those in favour?
Is that carried? Is it unanimous or is it?
I think it's unanimous, yeah.
Yeah.
Except for councillor Fraser, because he's not here voting.
I'll make a note, councillor Fraser left the room.
Item 14, open space facilities, Blackthorn Road, agreement relating to off-site contribution. Any comments?
Do we know if the concerns councillor Middlebrook had were addressed? I know councillor Taylor and myself both contacted an officer at Brackland and got the amendments put in place that councillor Middlebrook wanted. And we did request a meeting, and did you meet up? Yes, Megan's indicated she did meet with councillor Middlebrook to address his concerns. Can we ask Megan how she done that? Is that possible?
Yeah, okay. You want to?
Am I extended?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I spoke with Mel today and she's made a note of councillor Middlebrook's concerns. So she's going to compile an email together that will be distributed to all of you. I haven't seen that email yet.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Westby, I think councillor Middlebrook actually demonstrated a great deal of due diligence in the work that he undertook, and obviously with meeting with Megan this week, I know it is being looked at by the Brackland Council Properties team. I think until they've had opportunity to respond to the queries raised by councillor Middlebrook and satisfy the councillor's questions, that actually a deferment is probably best to action on this item as well.
I'll propose we defer to next meeting. Anyone second? Councillor Dale? All those in favour? Unanimous? Thank you.
Councillor Dale.
Second, Councillor Dale. Right. Item 15, update on all council leases for consideration and resolution. Signal box lease.
I'll remove myself, seeing I've got a lease with the council.
Can I just say, although you do have a lease with the council, councillor
It's not considering noted.
there's 4 that are noted. And
Yeah, well, it just says, well, I realised that, but it actually says for consideration, and I thought it said for all. No, okay.
I think it's the 4 under.
It's just the 4.
We'll take it as a specific 4.
Okay.
So the signal box. Have you got anything to add to that, Megan? Yeah.
So the renovation works in the city box commenced on the 24th of July, and that was supported by funding from the Railway Heritage Trust and Network Rail. The scheme includes the installation of a new access route to ensure safe entry for residents and visitors alike, and we're expecting the scheme and renovation works to be completed around mid-October, at which point solicitors respectively from the Town Council and Network Rail would be engaged to finalise the terms of the lease. And after that point, once it's been completed, we're expecting it will be opened as an educational facility and a micro museum. and that is supposed to be operated by the Attleborough Heritage Group. And we're expecting that to happen around December or January 2026. And as a Grade 2 listed building, a lot of its original features will be retained to the building. So that will include the 1912 Mackenzie Holland signal lever frame, and where that's not possible, replacements will be made using the same materials and likeness. Just to note, following a Network Rail inspection that commenced on the 28th, that we received notification of on the 28th, we were notified that Network Rail had made a decision to remove the roof replacement from the scope of works. So in response to that, we were able to agree in principle and subject to council decision to amend the heads of terms from full repairing to internal repairing only. So that means that Network Rail would continue to be responsible for any future roof works, and that's reflected in the updated heads of terms that you've received.
Have you got any questions for Megan? No.
No questions. I would just like to propose that we accept them as presented.
Yeah. Second for Councillor Burton. All those in favour? Yeah.
Abstain because it's a lease. I would abstain from all these four items.
Attleborough Town Football Club. Anybody got any comments? Councillor Downs.
It just rolls on, doesn't it? Is it annually now? Is it like?
No, this is the gamers list.
Oh, the gamers one.
Yeah.
Does that not just run on annually as well?
Yeah, no, I would like to propose that we accept it as presented as well, please.
Councillor Burton, second. All those in favour?
Who seconded?
I did.
Councillor Burton. Okay. Likewise, the Attleborough Athletics Academy. Same supply. Councillor Allen's the second. All those in favour? Unanimous vote. And the Scouts.
Just on this one, the only comment I was going to make is that I know of all of the leases, this has been our most contentious. I know it's the one that we've had the most difficulty in coming to a resolution with. And on that basis, I don't know about other members, I personally would prefer to have been able to have the park here with some guidance on how that process has been going and how we've finally got to this draft. I don't know if she gave our Logan this evening any comments on this.
She did. She updated me that she's chased and there's been no response from the Scouts lawyers.
Okay.
Can I propose we defer it?
I was going to say that. I'll second that. So we defer to next meeting. All in favour? Unanimous. Thank you. All right, moving on to item 16, second episode of public participation. Yes, please.
I'd just like to ask one thing, Wayne. On the open spaces facilities, obviously there's a Blackburn Road agreement related to off-site contributions. I read the document and couldn't see what the contribution is. Could you tell us what the contribution is? How much it is in pounds?
It's about £74,000.
About £74,000.
It's not in the document, is it? Well, unless I can see it. So I'm just saying, that's what it is. Unless we only saw part of the document. I just also mentioned this. I mean, some councils, they have this with standing orders that you can only speak once an item. Do you know if that's the case here, or? I was just interested because obviously a lot of discussions going backwards and forwards. But does anyone know if it's in the standing order that you can speak once an item?
I think it is, yeah.
Well, you can only speak once an item.
Yeah, there's a right of response, and then well, yes.
That's okay, it's just, well, perhaps you can have a look at it. and-
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't want to stifle debate, right?
No, but stop people.
Yeah, okay. Yes, please, to the vote.
Could I please ask, with the CCTV at the skate park, I'm under aware that is being dealt with the clerk, when she's in the office to view CCTV. Now, as someone of the community who has children who likes the skate park as well, there's been a lot of issues going on down there, and I know, like, with this, safer warding thing, and there's been, that's like main area of antisocial behaviour as well. I just would like to know, is it possible that instead of just the clerk viewing the CCTV when someone rings up and reports it, if someone else, or could that be put to another company to view and maybe notify the police of when there is such crimes committing or antisocial behaviour or whatever, so that could be done, if possible, rather than just.
So sort of a proactive approach rather than a reactive approach.
Sorry?
So a proactive approach rather than a reactive approach.
Just, because I'm aware that there's been a lot of verbal abuse obviously being taken by different ages for youth and for elderly as well up there, and that could be something that I would like to see a bit more for the safer for the community, as well as that's what I wanted to address, but unfortunately I couldn't ask a question in regards to the safer order because it was not allowed to be asked for public. So,
I mean, as far as monitoring CCTV is concerned, if it's full time, it's can be quite expensive, but we can look at the cost.
Thank you.
I mean, that's all we can do at this stage, but.
Can I just say, just ask the question about the CCTV? Is that a deterrent then, having that CCTV?
Well, half the time they're doing well.
Yeah, but even
No one's
if
viewing it.
even if it is working, it's obviously not a deterrent for kids and who are not kids that skate park.
Yeah.
Kids.
Yeah.
I would have thought that the knowledge that you're going, that potentially you're going to get seen is some kind of deterrent.
Well, the youth is aware that no one's viewing it as such, and nothing happens. And I have spoken to police officers in the past, and if they're passing, they might go and visit it, but it's never enough present to, you know, I just would like, that's all I would like.
Yeah, it's about valid point. Okay, well, we'll look into that then.
Thank
We can
you.
look at that.
I think the wardens would be more of a deterrent.
Yeah, only if they were in the area.
Oh, yeah, but the CCTV isn't a deterrent.
Well, no, but the CCTV records.
Yeah, I know.
So you can see what's happening.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not a deterrent, but if you've got
Imagine seeing something afterwards happen, with some kids being beaten up, or abused, or ridiculed.
But
So
if
what use is that
I think
after the event?
that boat sailed already, unfortunately. Yes, please, in the middle.
Is it really a deterrent though, because the ones that we currently have, every time they get put up, they just get smashed?
The one on the public toilets in Queen Square was smashed,
Mhm.
and the offender was under the age of prosecution, so the police wouldn't have taken the action.
It's been smashed
Twice, yes, twice it's been broken now.
And they smash it out of view of the camera, so the cameras are pointless if they can't even record who is attacking the camera.
You've just kind of saved 10 grand, you voted fine, no wardens, but why don't you look at reviewing the CCTV coverage within the town, how it's used and where can it be improved?
Yeah.
And the price. I think wardens would have been good, you voted whichever way, but if you've saved the money, let's spend it in a way.
I'll propose that that's on the next agenda.
I think it'll be a lot more than 10 grand.
Yeah.
Value for money, I can see.
I'll propose that we put that on as an item for the next agenda. Anybody else? No? Okay, thank you very much. We're now on to item 17, items for the next agenda. Sorry.
Obviously CCTV.
Can I just, I found in our standing orders the question raised about the councillor only speaking once. It clearly states in the standing orders that unless permitted by the chairman of the meeting, a councillor may speak once in the debate or motion. So I guess the theory of that would be that if the chairman has allowed somebody to speak more than once, that's okay. They can speak on an amendment moved by another councillor, to move or speak on another amendment if the motion has been amended since he last spoke, to make a point of order, to give a personal explanation, or to exercise a right of reply. But at the main crux is that it's at the chairman's discretion.
And I don't want to stifle the debate, so, but it gives me the right to stop it if I wish. Okay.
Whilst we're items for the next agenda, Councillor Westby,
Yeah.
can we then please have an update on why the CCTV
Absolutely,
at the
yeah.
Staples Park isn't working? Because I've actually spoke to the clerk a couple of times on behalf of the football club, and every time she's just gone and looked at it. Obviously she doesn't sit at her desk 24/7 viewing it, but she can bring it up if you have a time and a date within a 28-day cycle. So if it's not working, I'd like to know why.
Well, I think we need to review the CCTV as a whole.
Bearing in mind we don't have much CCTV, it is only the skate park, the public toilets, and
We'll be installing one on the town hall.
and one on the town hall.
Okay.
Can we have get costings from the utility companies on how much putting electric supplies into one of our open spaces?
We'll do a wholesale review.
CCTV.
Councillor Bertram.
Can I just confirm the 3 agenda items that I brought up earlier? Is that?
Yeah.
Just give me to.
Chambers Cafe, the Christmas dinner, Chambers Christmas dinner, and the Business Awards, please.
Christmas dinner.
The Chambers Christmas dinner and the Business Awards.
I can probably just answer the Christmas dinners for Councillor Bircham. It's nothing to do with the council at all. Their partnership extends to the use of the facility. The town clerk has the discretion to say if we can use the facility that day. She has said yes. So that is the answer to that. The partnership is the use of the building. Our partnership was setting it up, and now it's run by volunteers. So whilst yes, Sharon does keep saying it is a partnership, it is us working cohesively together with a group of volunteers. There is no financial contribution from the council. I am slightly concerned though that Councillor Bircham may have a pecuniary interest here, and maybe he's worried about sales of Christmas dinners at his business might be affected. That would be position for Councillor Bircham to declare, because I also know he has not declared everything on his pecuniary list at Brecon, which is against the law. Could you? All of my businesses are listed and everything on it.
I mentioned you, Councillor Taylor.
No wonder why the community does not trust
If
you.
I may, it's also not public.
Does not trust you.
I was just going to say, with what Councillor S. Taylor has just said, that partnership isn't just the use of the facilities. Obviously, the town council administration did offer to keep the finances under check, to have that openness and transparency to the chamber's accounts. If councillors don't like that, they can do them separately. You can revoke that support, that's fine. But actually, the use of the town hall facilities is at the officer's discretion. To suggest otherwise would undermine them, and I'm sure we wouldn't want to do that. And furthermore, it's a Thursday, which is a usual hire day for the chambers. So it's not out of the ordinary, and it didn't require council support or approval. Thank you.
Just to clarify, I have got an email from the clerk to say that the Chambers Christmas dinner is a Attleborough Town Council initiative. Hence my question.
Okay, well,
thank you.
Anybody else got any items for the next agenda? Yeah? No? Okay, thank you very much. I'll close the meeting.
Yes, if you could.
We have to stay.
Oh,
Not yet, no.
Yeah, maybe.
I'll shut that door, James.
Yeah, well, it's good that you-
Oh, is it? All right.
Yeah, okay.
And you suddenly start to realise that council is very different.
Yeah, yeah. I'll take that. Yeah.
I don't know, that's not, it's not the official document.
Yeah, that's what my. Sorry,
That's not the official document. Right.
Because that's what's in there. So
So-
it ends up in the public domain.
So if you leave this, is that our fault?
And it will get linked at all.
It's not official document.
If it's not, I'll tear it.
Well, I won't be signing an unofficial document. No.
I'll be back.
So why ask?
Do you want us standing or sitting, Andy?
Sitting, I think, I would have said.
Sorry. There's unofficial.
I went to, radio to the parking.
Oh, yeah, where?
It's Chelmsford, the Oval Waterfall. Got people there.
Yes, well,
I did. Too old for it.
I know, wait.
Andy, where do you usually sign your minutes?
It's on the front.
I did it. Nothing to say.
I normally do it next to the date and that's
Yeah.
I
next
normally
to
have
the
the
last
box
one.
that says chair signature and then you should initial every page, really.
Okay, well, yeah.
Anne does get us to initial every page and then sign the last one in full.
Yeah.
There's just no specified space for it.
I do it always at the end so nothing can be added.
Oh, I do it so messily.
It's good just to have a line for you.
At the bottom.
Signature.
What was the comment? That comment is so.
It's feedback on the speakers. I don't know.
It
what's
needs
suggested
looking at,
about
'cause then when they're all freaking mumbling, I tell you, my brain goes into overdrive.
Can I just ask just a couple of observations? One, you were talking about the chamber at Christmas dinner and you were saying that the council holds the money.
Yeah, they do, yes.
So that's going into the council's bank account. So that then becomes council funds and is under all the scrutiny.
That's
Well,
what
that is why it was done that way, so that it had the openness of being able to see all of the income expenses, all of the outgoing expenses, that it was overseen by an officer, and that it went through two audit processes, so that there was that
But
openness.
technically, the minute it goes into the bank account, it's the council's money and it's not the chamber's money. It's not the chamber Christmas dinner money. You can't have pots of money.
We don't have Christmas dinner money.
So if that money is
It's
going
money
into
that
the
runs
parish
the
council, it is the parish council's money and therefore the parish council is technically then funding that action.
So the suggestion that it has its own bank
That
account
would
is
be-
probably the better way to do it.
You could still say that you want to scrutinise that bank account, but it possibly is better for any money that isn't parish council money to not be going into. I don't know if you can remember years ago, Corona Town Council had a big, with their fireworks, they had a really big firework display and they shook the buckets and they all collected lots of money. And they put that money into the parish council and actually they couldn't get it out because they had no power. The council had no power to do what they were wanting to do. And of course, if you're giving money to that Christmas fund,
Well, it's
their money. I know it's their money, but technically it's no longer their money the minute it goes into your bank account. You can only probably use section 137 to get it out, and you need to consider the amounts that you've got available under section 137 as well.
So maybe then get
just an observation.
Banking, and we'll just constitutionalise it and set a bank account. But the fun that I just finished, because the council, when the Funfest team first set up, used to do it for the Funfest team.
Yeah. It's often also how you get money out. Do you have the power? Are you using the power? Well, you don't have the general power of competence, do you, as a council?
We did have, I don't know if we still do.
I don't know.
If you have the general power of competence, it's a lot easier.
Is it with, how much of the council has to be elected to hold the?
2/3.
2/3.
Well, we probably are
We
there.
do, yeah.
Yeah.
And the silver qualified clerk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do.
So you need to adopt it. So you should have adopted it before you can use it.
Yeah.
So you would need to make sure that you've
Do you have
adopted
to
it.
do that annually?
No, you need just
Then we have.
when you would do it at your first meeting after.
We have, yeah. 2023, we've done that.
Yeah.
I remember.